boutique in Beverly Hills, her casual attire standing in stark contrast to the glitzy surroundings. She wasn't one to flaunt her wealth, and today she was just in a comfortable sweater and jeans. She loved shopping alone, no assistance, no fuss. As she browsed through an elegant collection of designer dresses, a boutique manager named Veronica approached, her nose slightly upturned. "Ma'am, are you lost?" Veronica asked, her voice dripping with condescension. Sandra raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me?" "Our collection is exclusive," Veronica continued, eyeing Sandra's outfit. "Perhaps you'd be more comfortable at one of the department stores down the street." A couple of shoppers nearby turned to watch the unfolding scene. Sandra, ever the calm professional, simply smiled. "Actually, I was looking for something unique," she replied. Veronica sighed dramatically and gestured toward a clearance rack near the back. "Perhaps something in your budget." Sandra's smile didn't fade, but her eyes sharpened. Before she could respond, a voice from the other side of the boutique spoke up. "That's an interesting way to treat a customer." The entire store turned to look. Keanu Reeves had been quietly standing near the accessories, observing the interaction. He was dressed in his signature low-key style, black jeans, a plain t-shirt, and a slightly worn leather jacket. Veronica's demeanor had changed in an instant. "Oh, Mr. Reeves," she gushed, suddenly all charm. "Welcome. How can I assist you today?" Keanu ignored her and walked over to Sandra. "Find anything you like?" he asked casually. Sandra smirked. "Not sure. The staff here doesn't think I belong." Keanu turned to Veronica, his voice still calm but firm. "You do know who she is, right?" Veronica's face paled. Well, I didn't realize." "That doesn't matter," Keanu interrupted. "You should treat everyone with respect, whether you recognize them or not." Sandra chuckled softly. "It's okay, Keanu. I think I've seen enough." With that, the two walked out of the boutique, leaving Veronica standing there, flustered and red-faced. Outside, Keanu glanced at Sandra. "Some people forget what real class looks like." Sandra grinned. "Well, at least I got some entertainment out of it." Keanu laughed. "Come on, let's find a place where they actually appreciate their customers." And with that, the two Hollywood legends walked off together, proving that true class isn't about money, it's about character. What do you think? Would you like any changes or additions? Part 2, A Lesson in True Luxury. As Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves strolled down Rodeo Drive, Sandra chuckled to herself. "I swear, Keanu, these kinds of things happen way too often." Keanu smirked. "You'd think people would learn by now." They walked past another high-end boutique, this one with a warm, inviting atmosphere. The name Le Chéri Couture glowed in golden letters above the entrance. "Feel like giving luxury another shot." "Why not?" Sandra replied. The moment they stepped in, the boutique's atmosphere was noticeably different. A friendly store clerk, an older gentleman with silver hair and a refined but kind expression, approached them with a genuine smile. "Welcome to Le Chéri Couture. How may I assist you today?" he said warmly. Sandra smiled back. "I'm looking for something elegant but comfortable, something that feels like me." "Ah," the gentleman said, his eyes twinkling. "Timeless elegance. I believe I have just the thing." He led them to a private section filled with beautifully handcrafted dresses. Instead of dismissing Sandra based on her attire, he listened intently to what she wanted. Meanwhile, Keanu casually browsed through the store, observing the difference in service. Sandra found a stunning midnight blue gown, simple yet sophisticated. "Would you like to try it on?" the gentleman asked. Sandra nodded and disappeared into the fitting room. Keanu, still browsing, caught sight of a familiar figure outside the boutique window. Veronica, the rude manager from the first store. She had followed them, watching with a mix of curiosity and regret. Moments later, Sandra stepped out in the gown. It fit her perfectly, hugging her figure just right. Keanu grinned. "Now that's a Sandra Bullock dress." The clerk clapped his hands together. "Exquisite. You wear it beautifully, Miss Bullock." Sandra turned to him, impressed. "You knew who I was?" The man smiled kindly. "Of course, but more importantly, I know how to treat all my customers with dignity." Keanu nodded in approval. Sandra didn't hesitate. "I'll take it." As they approached the counter, the boutique's owner entered, a distinguished woman in a chic black suit. She recognized the two immediately. "Miss Bullock, Mr. Reeves, what an honor," she greeted warmly. Before they could respond, the glass door suddenly swung open. Veronica stepped inside, looking nervous. "Miss Bullock, Mr. Reeves, I just wanted to say..." She hesitated. "I didn't realize who you were. I shouldn't have treated you that way." Sandra and Keanu exchanged a glance. Sandra took a deep breath and smiled. "You see, Veronica, the problem isn't that you didn't recognize me. The problem is that you judged someone based on their appearance. What if I had been a regular woman just looking for a nice dress?" Veronica swallowed hard. "You're right. I made a mistake." The boutique owner, who had been listening, stepped forward. "A true luxury experience isn't just about expensive clothes," she said firmly. "It's about kindness, respect, and making every person feel valued." Veronica lowered her gaze. "I understand, and I'll do better." Sandra simply nodded. "I hope you do." With that, Sandra handed her credit card to the kind clerk and completed her purchase. As she and Keanu walked out of the boutique, Sandra nudged him. "You know, Keanu, you could have stepped in sooner at that first store." Keanu smirked. "And ruin your big moment." "No way. Besides, I like watching people realize their mistakes on their own." Sandra laughed. "You're too zen for your own good." Keanu grinned. "Or maybe I just know how to let the universe do its thing." As they walked off into the Beverly Hills sunset, one thing was clear. Luxury wasn't about wealth, it was about class. And class is something you carry within you, no matter what you wear. The end. Hope you like the continuation. Would you like me to add more details or a different twist? Part 3. The Unexpected Surprise. As Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves walked down Rodeo Drive, the city lights beginning to twinkle in the evening sky, Sandra turned to Keanu with a thoughtful expression. "You know," she said, "it's funny how people's true colors show in the smallest moments." Keanu nodded. "Yeah, that's why I like staying in the background. People act differently when they think no one important is watching." Sandra smirked. "You? Not important, please." Keanu chuckled and shrugged. Just as they were about to head toward a cozy cafe for a quiet evening, Sandra's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and her face lit up. "Oh, this is interesting," she said. "That boutique owner from La Cherie Couture just invited us to a private event tonight, some kind of charity gala." Keanu raised an eyebrow. "Fancy clothes, rich people, and overpriced appetizers." Sandra grinned. "Come on, it might be fun. Besides, I already have the perfect dress." Keanu sighed dramatically. "Fine, but if there's a speech, you're making it." The charity gala, a reunion and a revelation. Later that evening, Sandra and Keanu arrived at a stunning ballroom filled with LA's elite. Crystal chandeliers sparkled above them, and waiters in black tie attire moved gracefully through the crowd carrying trays of champagne. Sandra's new midnight blue gown shimmered under the lights, while Keanu, ever the minimalist, had opted for a classic black suit, simple, elegant, and effortlessly cool. As they mingled, Sandra noticed Veronica, the rude boutique manager, standing by the bar, nervously adjusting her dress. Keanu followed Sandra's gaze. "Looks like someone's out of their comfort zone." Before Sandra could reply, the boutique owner from La Cherie Couture took the stage, tapping a microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. This event is not just about fashion, but about giving back. The funds raised tonight will support young designers from underprivileged backgrounds, giving them the opportunity to learn and grow in the industry." The crowd applauded. Then, with a knowing smile, the boutique owner added, "And speaking of learning, we had an interesting lesson in kindness today, didn't we?" A ripple of murmurs moved through the crowd. Sandra raised an eyebrow. "I'd like to invite someone to the stage," the boutique owner continued. "Veronica, would you join me?" The room fell silent as Veronica hesitated. Slowly, she stepped onto the stage, clearly uneasy. Veronica is a talented professional, but earlier today she made a mistake we've all made at some point. She judged someone based on their appearance rather than their character. But tonight, she's here to make things right. Veronica took a deep breath. "I want to publicly apologize to Miss Bullock for how I treated her, and not because she's famous, but because no one should be treated that way." Sandra glanced at Keanu, surprised. Veronica continued, "I learned today that luxury isn't about price tags, it's about respect. I promise to be better, not just as a professional but as a person." The audience applauded, and Sandra, touched by the moment, walked onto the stage. "Apology accepted," she said warmly, then turned to the crowd. "And she's right. The real test of character is how you treat people when you think no one is watching." Keanu, standing at the back, smiled and clapped. As the gala continued, Sandra and Keanu shared a toast, knowing they had just witnessed something rare, a real change of heart. "See," Sandra said, "not all rich people are awful." Keanu smirked. "Just most of them." Sandra laughed, shaking her head. "You are impossible." Keanu grinned. "And yet, you keep inviting me to things." As the music played and laughter filled the air, one thing was certain. True luxury wasn't about wealth or status. It was about how you treat others, even when no one is looking. The end. For real this time. Or is it? Hope you liked this continuation. Want me to add any extra twists?